So, how long have you been dead?
Hate to give the satisfaction asking how you're doing now. How's the castle built of people you pretend to care about? Just what you want. Look at you, cool guy, you got it. I see the parties and diamonds. Sometimes when I close my eyes, 6 months of torture you sold to some forbidden paradise. I loved you truly. You gotta laugh at the stupidity, 'cause I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst one look fine. I should have known it was strange. You only come out at night. I used to think I was smart, but you made me so naive. The way you saw me for parts, you sunk your teeth into me. Bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? I'm so happy to be here. I am also happy to be here. Per usual, I am not only streaming on my platform, but my guest platforms as well. So if you could show us love on all four, that would be wonderful. You guys asked, and we are delivering. We late. My fault. We are late, but we are back with season 1 because you guys enjoyed season 2 so much. And I cannot wait to hear what these ladies have to say, because I have more to say than I thought I would going back to revisit this show. Of course, not want to waste any time. I'm going to bring C out because she is also superior, and I want to know how she is feeling about her boy Louis going back and revisiting episode 1. Come on, C.
Hi.
Welcome,
Thanks for having me. I am very excited to talk about the show. Very excited to see my baby Louis when he was still just a human lad, out here in these streets just trying to make it.
A human lad. She starting already a human lad, and that felt soft right there. That felt real cuddly. Did you feel in any way indifferent towards Louis than you did before after revisiting season 2 compared to now?
Indifferent? No, I felt more sympathy for him this time around. Actually, if we're being 100, I'm like, all of the trauma he done went through in season 2, and we got to say, and he's none the wiser before he even experiences it. He's still bright eyed and bushy tailed in a way. So bad for him.
Oh, y'all see, this is what I brought. See, at first I knew she was gonna mess around. How could there be any more sympathy on C's part? She already started with the mess. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Next person I'm bringing out has the oh so sweet perspective. So she might be, a little sympathetic or, more than before towards Louis than she was when she first saw season 1. I don't know. Ashley, how are you feeling?
At the end of the day, in episode 1, Louis was on that pimping. And this was really the true Louis that has been hidden when we watched season 2. So it was kind of refreshing to get New Orleans Louis back on deck and to really see who he was at his core before. If I can be honest with you, I did feel for Louis episode 1. He called out to Jesus and he felt like Jesus ain't answer fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt Louis a little bit this first episode. It was not long-lived. And Lestat is the one who was in my crosshairs episode 1. Lestat was in my crosshairs episode 1. But we know that's not going to last. Listen, we know that's not going to last. He and I have an on and off again love-hate relationship. You know what it is.
I don't know. I can't wait, because what shocked me the most on my part was that Lestat was like the least in my crosshairs than he ever was before. You couldn't tell me season 1, episode 1 that Lestat was not the monster, the hunter, the everything that Louis told us he was. This go around, I was looking at him all kinds of different. But we don't know. We also have Kay Bly in the back with the books because she's reading them. I want to see how she feels because there is no room yet to be rooting for the Gremlin. We focusing on our two boys. Kay, come on to the stage, girl.
I am still. We did this Rasheed season, okay? Okay, he was playing his role in the back, and I am here for it. He had everybody fooled. I'm one of those people who was watching this series from day one, simply because of Jacob Anderson. I loved him so much in Game of Thrones, and I said, I'm gonna follow you right over here to this area right here. We come in. So Jacob Anderson put on an amazing performance in this episode. I don't know how anyone was not hooked after watching this pilot episode. But going back and watching it after watching season 2, you know, Louis started this interview off lying straight up to Daniel Malloy's face. He started off being very pretentious, and Daniel was not even here for the BS. He said, "No, you about to do the same thing we did in the 70s. I see you."
Say that. Say it with your chest. Last but not least, y'all know we can't do this without her. Watch with me, LB. I can't wait to hear because I don't know any of LB's thoughts on that first season. So I want to know how she was feeling about Louis. Was he doing it for you, or were you looking at Louis sideways? L.
Hey y'all. So you know, I was bamboozled, okay, because I was just I still don't know how to feel about season 1 now that I've seen season 2. It's just confusing my spirit. But I agree with everyone that I was hooked from episode 1. I came to the show late because I have too many subscriptions and I didn't want to go back and get another subscription. So I came to it late. But when I did, I think I watched episodes 1 through 6 in one sitting. Like I was sat down. But you know, this is my favorite Louis. This is Uptown Louis. This is New Orleans' own, in the streets pimping the hoes. Oops, sorry. So sorry. Louis. And that's, you know, that's my cousin. So I'm excited to talk about Louis today.
Oh man, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. You guys already know. Make sure you are liking, make sure you are subscribing, make sure you are sharing. Appreciate the 82 people already here in this live. We absolutely love to see it. But yeah, I'm about to shake the boat. Let me go and get started. I cannot wait to hear what do you guys have to say. Like, I was so surprised. It was like watching the first season all over again. Now, before we just dive, I want to know, like, who's the real victim here? Because you couldn't tell me that Louis wasn't the victim all out and through. There were no questions for me. I'm not feeling like that anymore. I'm feeling like, is he, you know, partially a victim? Yeah. But I also felt like Lestat was a victim too. Ashley? It's muted, Ashley.
Let me unmute myself. I know, because I'm cussing back here, and I don't even cuss. Lestat's not a, come on. Lestat's not a victim. Lestat ain't been a victim since, I mean, you know, the whole Lair Magnus situation that we witnessed in the finale of season 2. No, Lestat's not a victim. Did he get threatened? Anyway, no, Lestat's definitely not a victim. Paul, to me, is the true victim. And I don't, again, apparently he's not a victim of Lestat, but he was a victim of his own mind. You know what I mean? I feel the worst for Paul. Paul didn't stand a chance. As far as Louis, there is some victimhood. I think if Louis had the opportunity, he would have rejected the gift if he could have. I think he was enamored of Lestat, as anyone would be. But yeah, he was in a desperate place. He was in a bad place. My heart went out to Louis. Episode 1. I can't lie, y'all. I can't. It went out to him.
I just feel like Louis had some opportunity to reject that gift, and he did not. Elle, who's the victim here?
Yeah, are we talking about episode 1? Or are we talking about
season? You talk about episode 1. We will be doing this every single episode.
The script. If we just stick into 1, episode 1. Oh Lord, I can't even say that, because this is the thing, though. You can't tell me somebody that's, you know, making their livelihood in the street is just gonna go with the flow like Louis was going with the flow, right? Like all kind of questionable things were happening to him and around him, The man was making people freeze at the poker table. He made his mama freeze at the dinner table, and Louis didn't say nothing. So how much of a victim really was he if he willingly just kind of went along with these things and didn't say, why did you make my mama freeze at this dinner table? Why did you make all these people freeze at this poker table? So I don't think so. I also think that Louis was like, yeah, bro, take it, because I don't want to be gay. I don't want to be in the street. I don't want to be all these things that my human life has become. So maybe my vampire life could be a little better. So he wanted to get on up out of that human life. So even though that's my hometown homeboy, he knew what was going on. He knew what time it was.
Ditto. See, who's the real victim here? See,
you already know Louis is the real victim, and I can't believe y'all are proposing otherwise. Lestat was the mastermind behind this whole situation. This man is literally a god amongst men. And you want me to believe that this man who's hundreds of years old couldn't manipulate this young, strapping young lad out here in these streets? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The true victim is Louis. And, Paul is a victim as well. There's two victims in this episode, and there's the two black men on the screen right here.
Okay.
First of all, this picture you have with
Right.
yeah, you got him up here looking victimized. And that's how he be trying to fool us. No, ain't nobody the victim here. No, not even Paul, because Paul, they kept trying to get you help. They was talking about it. The church was trying to help you, everything. Paul was rejecting it. He ain't want nobody's help. Okay, he said, I have the Lord, and that's all I need. So he didn't want none of the help. Louis, he knew he wanted that gift from Lestat because he didn't like how them colonizers was treating him in them business meetings. And he said, let me get a little bit of that vampire power so I can show out on them. Okay. And we already, Lestat ain't no victim. Come on now.
Absolutely. Y'all, we have to go in. We have already reached our 100 plus threshold for people who are returning to hear what we have to say. Let me show y'all some love real quick because we appreciate it and we would love to get 100 more. Let's go up for season 1 and we will be right back. Yes, let's get on over here with these victims. I just love that we are all indifferent on who's the real victim here. I knew this was going to be messy boots, and I'm here for it. I love it. I love y'all, and I love this whole entire situation. But I'm gonna back up every single feeling I had. I could barely fit stuff in my little thought bubbles here. It was so much information. Here to do a job and no mention of Louise. Now, I was really excited in the beginning to really go back to Daniel because I think with the show for myself, I was really anticipating like, when are we going to get to Louis? When are we going to get to the vampires? And I wasn't really paying attention to Daniel. Daniel told us who he was and how well he was about to do this job from day one. Like, Daniel is at like pretty much the ending of his investigative journalistic career. And we out here, having PSAs and service and just offering courses. Like, if you want to get like me, the Daniel Malloy, come on down and take this course. But we have this Parkinson history, the history that he has with Louise, and Daniel has grown way beyond what he ever was in that little room in San Francisco. 50 years later, Louis has not. Louis is the same Louis from San Francisco in 1973, if you ask it me. But I love when you have Daniel in this point going to Dubai and talking to Louis, and it's just like, oh, there was absolutely no mention of me in the your memoir, even though we know later on that there is. Daniel just doesn't know that came from Louis, the dedication in the book. And even Daniel feeling like, why would I dare mention you or vampires in my memoir or any other book so I can look foolish in front of the public? I wouldn't dare, in comparison to how Louis, being a city girl towards the end of season 2. I love that. But Elle, I'm going to come to you first. Did you notice anything else about Daniel that you didn't pay attention to before?
I guess like you, I didn't pay attention to Daniel because I was like, I need more Jacob Anderson. Like, put him on the screen more. Like, he's not on the screen enough. But on this second watch, Daniel went into the meetings with Louis with a chip on his shoulder, and I should have like paid attention to that more. I just figured, the first watch, I figured that Daniel was just just a curmudgeon. He was just a grumpy old white man, and he just was sick and tired of whatever. And I just had no kind of thought about Daniel really. But I really enjoyed him right out of the gate, because see that the big picture down here at the bottom where he giving that little face like that is that's my favorite Daniel. But yeah, in the beginning I never paid attention to him, but I see why he has that attitude going in. And Daniel had a death wish because he had an attitude right out of the gate with somebody that could have snapped him in half of a millisecond. So, Daniel is a G. We got to respect Daniel, because he said, I don't care if you go murder me. I don't care if you could, toss me out this window. I'm going to say what I say, and that's going to be that on that. So shout out to Daniel Malloy.
I love it because Daniel is just pretty much at the end of his road. It's just like, I'm old. Not only am I old, I've fulfilled my career. I've been married twice, my children, and I have Parkinson's. Like, in comparison to the Daniel that wanted to live so bad in 73, and I just, my life here, it's just like, you can't even threaten me with that. I literally don't care. Either tell me the truth so I can hit this mixtape, or going on about your business, vampire. See, what were you thinking about Daniel this go round?
Daniel was looking young and fresh for his age. He was ready to go. He was here for it, right? And I also thought it was interesting that in this episode, we did hear a clip from that 1970s interview.
Yeah.
And it made me think, was this the same actor that they already have the young Daniel Malloy casted?
It sounded like it, yeah.
It sounded like him. Okay, so they've been plotting this for a while. I love it. I love to see it. So that was the main things that I noticed about Daniel, that he looked fresh and ready to go, and that they had that interview from the 70s still playing.
Okay.
Daniel still have a chip on his shoulder for when he tried to kill him that one time.
Yeah.
And so Louis come up here with being smug and arrogant, like, you ain't talk about my story. Did you forget about us? And Daniel was like, is this a story worthy to tell? Because from the last time we had our encounter, all he was Lestat ain't this, and Lestat ain't that, and I miss Claudia, and Lestat ain't that, and he this and this. And Daniel looking at him like, I don't want to hear this over again. So if you're gonna sit here and tell me a story, you need to really tell me a story instead of some foolishness like you did last time. Because I'm not having that what we did last time. We're not having a repeat.
Ashley?
Yeah, coming into this with like brand new eyes, I was just hyper aware, right? Even of the bite on Daniel's neck. And even when he confronts Louis about it, like, well, how'd I get this, buddy? And I love Daniel, but we are getting him in full reckless abandon. And I see in one of your bullet points where he's like, listen, anything we can't verify with documentation, I'm sending to my assistant. And Rasheed, aka Armand, chimes in, and I was like, look at this little trifling gremlin sitting over there. Daniel was like, I do my best work one-on-one. And I was like, and you do, Daniel. and you do. But I also like the shade that we get from Louis is like, okay, and you married a woman? Like, you married two of them. I was like, okay. So a lot of stuff I missed on the initial watch, I was able to catch going back. And again, kudos to the writers of the show because they were super thoughtful and intentional throughout the entire thing. But yeah, I love Daniel in the pandemic. He was getting it where he lived, like most of us were during that time, figuring out side hustles, hobbies. What can I do from this house? The only other note I have from this intro was the letter that Louis sent. Said, baby, I'm giving you an opportunity, Daniel, to get my life story in a week's time in the place of my choosing. I was like, Louis is hell to this day. Everything's on his terms, how he wants it, when he wants it. I was like, he ain't changed.
I'm tired of that, Ashley. Louis from get-go has been very self-serving. And day one, it's just like, I want you foaming at the mouth of my story. I want you just like, oh, what's next? And it's just like, but I don't care. I don't care. Even this may not be, as entrancing for me as you think it is. Well, I am a journalist, a professional one, have been for 50 years. Give me your little story and going on about your business. But he had to be smug and just, I still love you though, Louis. I still absolutely love you. But yeah, him and his research, everything I can verify will be sent back. Daniel, with that, I'm like, you was sending back every little drop of information you had, which begs the question of why you was standing there when it started to rain hell in that apartment during the fight. But okay. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Then you have been saving those things from jump, which is why, he hit that laptop with the beam. That didn't mean nothing. He had floppy disks and drives and everything
not
else.
A floppy disk, girl, not a floppy.
He had everything. The oldest and favorite son can't look weak too, playing parts and keeping the family afloat. Louis, never allowed to be his real self, has been adapting and playing roles all his life. Now, I couldn't wait to get here because, you guys love that. Like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the real Louis. I can't wait to get back to that New Orleans Louis. Is this the real Louis, though? Is this the real Louis? Louis, this first episode for me is just like a man of many hats. Louis is extremely adaptable. I walked away from this, which is, it was giving what it needed to give for me because how quick he was, le bon ho ho mon cher once he got to Paris with that little necktie and that hat. And the little beret, child, he's very, what I can say, I walked away. I was like, Louis is really intelligent and a great businessman. Now, Louis as a person, who he truly is, I don't think we know. And I don't think he knew up until that moment last season. But y'all said this the OG Louis, and this is who he really is, New Orleans Louis. Okay. Ashley?
I think this is the Louis or the Louis that he developed and been the longest, right? Up until this point, which was the Louis that needs to survive, the Louis that needs to provide for his family, the Louis that just has to make things shake, right? The Louis that denies his carnal nature for the good of the family. He in this moment, if we're believing this narration, Louis was his most selfless up until he was changed, right? And then when he adopted his vampire nature, maybe that was the true Louis that came out. I just prefer Pimpin' Louis. I prefer this Louis. And while we're talking about who the real victim is, and you ain't have the picture up, Tyra, but I'm gonna just bring it up right now. The true victim in all this, the true casualty, the true reason Lestat pissed me off was Lily. Lily ain't deserved to go out how she did. She was the true victim. And I love Louis' bottom B, if I can just say that right now. I loved her down. I said, Louis had peg leg hoes. He had thick hoes. He had fat hoes, skinny hoes, black hoes, white hoes. He had all of the hoes. You know what I'm saying? And I love that for him. But she was my absolute favorite. She said that man tried to stick that somewhere. And I gave him some of my catfish dinner and I fell out. And I fell out, y'all. It gave me everything I needed. So yeah, to answer your question though, I think maybe Vampire Louis is the realest Louis, but I liked this Louis better.
It is. I just felt like Louis, for better or worse, had to put on this persona of what would be perceived as, the non-weak. Like we have Paul already in the state that he's in. I'm going to come along, black, homosexual, this, that, and that. Like I have to maintain these things, not only for the people out here in the world, but for my family, my father, for everybody. Like, who is Louis really? See, who's Louis?
I don't think Louis knows who Louis is, even to this day. Even after season 2, I feel as if he doesn't truly know who he is because he spent so much time either in this part of episode 1, providing for his family, being the protector, hiding his inner desires. And we see later in season 2, he spends so much time being so attached in this codependency with either Lestat or Armand, so he doesn't really know himself.
Yes.
So we still don't know who the real Louis is, in my opinion. But this Louis was the gangster Louis. This Louis was the Louis that got things done for his family, and I can appreciate that. I love to see a man who gets things done, right?
Yes.
And that was him in this episode. Y'all can't even fake Louis was making it happen, making it shake.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and it makes sense to me even when we get to season 2 when he tells Armand, "Hey, I don't know much about covens, but I know how to manage people." And
Yeah,
it's because of his experience here. So yeah, I love this Louis as well.
He absolutely does. But this New Orleans is just like I'm adapting to this situation, New Orleans. And later on in Dubai with Armand and the black and this is my Armand Louis. And then we get here, the housewife, we get sort of the Lestat Louis. And when we're in Paris, we get that. It's just, I can't wait to see who he really becomes. Elle?
So I think this Louis is as close to his like original self as possible, right? Because he wasn't always in the street, right? Yeah. They came from money until his daddy, when squandered it away, and then he had to do what he had to do. Yeah. So I think this Louis is as close to his normal self, grew up with a mama and a daddy and a brother and a this and a that, as he had to shift, right? And I don't know, baby, don't quote me, but I know something was going on in America in the 1910s. I don't know historically what was going on, but something was happening in the country. And so to have his family being black in New Orleans in their position, that ain't no small feat, right? So he's smart, right? Obviously he knows how to move, how to shake, how to manage, how to multitask, how to sound like I'm giving his resume, child. But he has a lot of great attributes, right? That came from, his upbringing and people he was around and people he met and things like that. And it developed over time. And that's how it happens with all of us. But most of us don't end up in Storyville. So, and nobody that's in Storyville wants to be there. Like nobody wants to do those things, right? But you are forced to do those things to survive. And if that's the only thing you can do, then that's what you got to do. But I really enjoy seeing him code switch in this episode, right? To have his New Orleans accent and to have his, dealings with, his sex workers and the people. And then he's at the poker game with the alderman and the sheriff or whoever. And then he's a whole different person, right? So he knows what to do to survive. And I respect that. And he was just looking real good. Look at him in that suit, baby. I don't know what he's asking, and I don't know what he's talking about.
No matter,
and it really don't even matter because look at his face. Okay,
big
no
fine.
The year, the century. Louis gonna look good all his life. On the moon, Louis gonna look damn good. Okay.
The wardrobe stylist, shout out to them because she had everybody looking good. Okay. Everybody was just fine. They ain't miss a beat on the wardrobe and the style. Louis, this is an act. And see, this is how I know it's an act. Because see, he was acting like the big bad boss. And that's what Lestat saw. Lestat was like, okay, we running things. Okay, that's, let me come holler at him. He looked good in this suit and everything. And as soon as he got in that house and they started shacking up and he just turned into the Real Housewife of New Orleans. And Lestat was probably like, what is wrong with you? You don't want to, you was selling tail for a living. This is what you doing. And now, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to eat people. Can we just do the animals? And I want a real family. And can we have a daughter? And why you got to do that? Lestat was like, who is this? This is not the Louis that I saw running the streets out here and being the boss man. Who is this that we have here? So yeah, as soon as he got up in that house, he done took the mask off. Louis, this was all an act right here.
It was. It was. I sadly, and y'all know I'm gonna be biased just because it's Lestat, but I feel like that was Louis in his truest form. Like he wanted to be a housewife. I'm gonna stick by that. He wanted to be that. I don't have to put up this persona of being strong. Get home, else I'll bleed you like a cochon, bro. I ain't gotta do that up in here with you. I don't gotta do that in here with you. Shout out to Ashley. She say that's a pig. A little piglet.
I had to Google it. I said, "What's a cochon?" I said, "And it bleeds." I said, "Oh, not a piglet. He was gonna bleed him like a hog in the street." Louis.
Let me just say, it's delicious. Okay, not too much on the cochon now, because I will eat that all the time. All right, I love me a cochon, but I know you ain't called me, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I just gotta say, I grimace at that line, particularly in the show, because I was so pleasantly surprised. Obviously, this is early on in the episode when he says this, and I was pleasantly surprised with the authenticity of his accent and the things that he did and how he carries himself. Yes. But people were not in New Orleans not calling each other bruh in the 1910s. I'm just so sorry. I'm just so sorry. Okay. And they weren't gonna say I'm gonna bleed you like a cochon, bruh, because that's not how that works. Okay, when you butcher a pig, I ain't about to get into it. I'm just saying that's not how that works, and it just annoyed me a little bit. And I know they try to throw that in there so that people from New Orleans could be like, "Oh, you from New Orleans?" Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I just had to get it off my chest because I never had a chance to in all this time. Thank you so much for providing a safe space, Tyra.
Absolutely, Elton. Not on my watch. It was not. Never was. Loving, institutionalized, and schizophrenic. Well, at least I believe Paul was showing signs of being schizophrenic. I don't want to misdiagnose. Y'all put it in the chat or I'm gonna come to y'all. Stubborn, fragile, and indulged. I love when we get Louis' narration of Paul, and that's how he describes him. That is so much of Louis: stubborn, fragile, and indulged. I was like, you describing yourself, but okay. Louis had been at odds with religion, and it was nothing but a pacifier for Paul at this point. I just love every ounce he is throwing. Just get out of my face with that. Get from in front of the whole house with that, Paul. I don't want to hear that. But child, in the end, we was in that church just hollering to hell for anybody to come down and save. Like, in the end, he decided to go to church. But I was thinking about Louis' relationship with religion and how much I feel like he kind of maybe had in common with Lestat to maybe accept that gift, because it's just like when we get later in the episode, we have Louis' mom, of course, blaming Louis for Paul's death. And it's just like, Paul's going to go to hell because of you. If you kill yourself, you go down the other way. You don't go to the gates. And it's just like, well, hell, what am I supposed to do with this religion or believe in anything if I'm a homosexual man? Am I not going to get the same treatment? I was like, yeah, all of that. It's just everything here was just telling me that he wanted this gift. And Lestat knew he wanted this gift, but when you got it, it was a problem. See, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about Paul and just his relationship with Louis, beyond them just loving each other? But Louis has been tasked with protecting Paul, per se, since their father passed away, because his father had him institutionalized. Mm-hmm. And we have, I think from what we hear, it was Louis' decision to go and get him out of there and not keep him there.
So I know this was different times, right? It's a different time period, but the mom ain't nothing for letting this happen. She knew that as a mother, you have to advocate for your children, specifically if you have one that's, on the spectrum or, something like that. And Louis had to be the one end up stepping up and taking care of the whole family. And again, I know it's different times, right? So I know it's traditionally the oldest son would do these things, but it just feels like it was forced upon him. And she doesn't give the impression that she's very much of a nurturing mother. And it's saddened me to see that Louis had to be in this position when he wasn't really prepared emotionally. It's clear. But to address Paul and his issues that he's had, I thought it was interesting how they covered it, because they never really said, again, they probably didn't have the wording at this time period, like what was his diagnosis.
Yeah.
It could have been schizophrenia. It could have been so many other things. And when we see what happens at the end of the episode, I won't get too heavy into it. I'm sure we're going to cover it. But to have that happen in front of you, I can only imagine, right? And so, again, Louis is a victim.
Absolutely, see you better stand on it. Kay, what are your feelings towards Paul and just the relationship overall? Because I think watching this was the first time I was like, you know what? Oh, all the family knew about Louis in the woods with those boys, and I felt like his mother resented him a little bit for it, honestly. Okay,
I want to revisit a statement that Claudia said in season 2 when she said love makes you stupid. Because before old Lestat came through here, Louis was like, I'm managing the family business and I'm at least somewhat keeping an eye on my brother. I'm making sure my sister gets married off to a nice man, keeping the house intact. Like it was hard, but he was, he was juggling everything. And then Lestat breezes through, and then just forget all about poor Paul. Lestat and Paul kind of, bump heads, and Louis kind of like loosen the reins on that. He wasn't thinking clear, and well, from what he told us, Lestat was just all in his mind, calling out to him and whatnot. So he was just all enveloped within the whirlwind of this beautiful vampire. And I think that's why it hurt so much for Louis, because he failed his brother. He took his eye off his responsibilities because he was trying to follow around his new love at the moment. Somebody that he was like, oh, he sees me for who I am. And then you took your eyes off your brother.
Absolutely. I think I didn't notice that until now, because it's just like, it was my choice to go and get you out of that. If it wasn't, for me, you would still be locked up. So it's like you kind of take on their responsibility when you decided to take him out of there. Elle?
Yeah, poor Paul. God bless his heart. I felt sad for him, but I also thought he was a very interesting character because yes, Paul might have had some mental health issues. He might have even been on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But baby, Paul had his good common sense when the time needed to, like when it was appropriate. Okay. Because when he sat down at that table with Lestat, he was clocking all his tea and he was like, baby, something is off with you. And I don't like it. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. And tell me about your mom and them. Who are your people? Right. So like he was very present when he needed to be. I think, it was probably hard for Louis to, like, Paul was probably where all of his little personalities kind of had to come together, right? So like when he rolled up on Louis on in Storyville, he had to be that guy, right? He had to like hem him up and be like, you got to get it together because you can't come back over here. I'm gonna bleed you like a cochon, bro, right? Because he couldn't be seen to look weak in the neighborhood. But when he's at home with Paul, he's very caring. He treats him like a brother, right? Even though you may be schizophrenic, even though you might, not have all your faculties about yourself, we could still be brothers, right? We still gonna go to church. We still gonna kick it at the dinner table. We're gonna make fun of our sister together, whatever, right? So Paul was very tragic, and I know seeing Paul probably was very difficult for Louis because he took him out of there, but it's 1910. You don't know what they was doing in the little facility. You know what I mean? So they could have been being terrible to Paul. We don't really know. Now that mama, she's the kind of mama I didn't care for her, and I say, oh, that's Sneak from Color Purple when I first saw her, but she's the kind of mama that would tell you not to stay outside too long because you're gonna get too dark. You know what I mean? Like she's that kind of mom, right? And when you are Creole and you are fair skinned, you're gonna hold on to that. And so anything that goes against the Creole way or what she was trying to accomplish in that time, right? They have to be upstanding citizens. We have to look a certain way, present ourselves a certain way, one band, one sound. And so when Louis, even though he was supporting her, she was cool having tea and fresh flowers at the table when he was in Storyville bringing home the bread. But as soon as he want to come to the table and, just be normal, well, he wasn't never really normal. But as soon as he comes around, she was kind of treating him poorly, right? And so I don't like Mama Dulac. Okay, I'm going to just say it. I don't like that lady.
Actually,
Yeah, because let's talk about it, right? Because that was the same sentiment she gave very much. If you're darker than a brown paper bag,
Oh yeah.
is what Mama gave, and how I don't care what your brother does, right? Because he's affording us with this lifestyle, the life that we've been accustomed to living. She was preoccupied at this point with Grace's wedding, right? That's all she could think about. And so when Paul came with truth, right? Like, Mama, we should take all this money and we should tithe it to the church because it's foul and it's wrong. And Grace, you need to go over there with the Mayfairs because you're a witch too. I like Paul. I can't front.
I love Paul. I love Paul.
Paul had sense, but what I really thought was so interesting was the dynamic between Louis and Paul, and even in his recitation of their relationship, he talks about how Paul was his best friend, and we see and hear over and over and over again until Lestat. Paul was the only man I'd confide my deep, dark secrets that I would tell everything to. So when Lestat comes in and disrupts that, I think a lot of the display we saw at that table was Paul's jealousy. I'm losing my brother. My sister is getting married to Levi, because he gave Levi the business too. He said, do you know how to love my sister? I said, Paul, you better preach. Can you take care of her? I said, go on, Paul, be a good brother. And so when we get to that fateful moment, he's like, okay, you should get married, Louis. I want to, you've already found this person. Go ahead and get married, live your life. Grace has Levi. She's going to have babies. I can leave now, because I think Paul, whether I'm not gonna say it was undue influence, because everybody done said Lestat ain't have nothing to do with him jumping. But I think it was, I don't want to be a burden. Like, I don't have any place here anymore. But if I can be honest with you, Lestat didn't like Paul being around. Because that was the one time before Louis got changed that we saw Louis check Lestat at that table when he was like, not my family. You're not about to do Lestat. Like, cut it out. That was the one time. And I don't think Lestat like that. But yeah, I hated to see Paul go. I think my favorite moment though of these two was when they had the whole Nicholas Brothers dance at the wedding reception where they were tap dancing together. I thought that was a beautiful moment. I loved it. Kudos to the direction there.
They were called the ABCDEFGs. That was their little group name. I love that part too. It was so cute.
It was. Speaking of that, let me show you guys some love. There are 150 people here in this chat, and we appreciate you guys for it so much. Let's get into some of this Paul, because we've never been able to represent Paul in the montage. We'll be right back, y'all.
But in my heart I knew I wasn't the only one. Cause when the table turned, he had to break. But whenever I got lonely, I needed some advice. He gave me his shoulder. His words were very nice, but that is all behind me. Cause now there is no other. Love is his and his is mine. A friend became the love of my life. You are my friend, love of my life. I can depend, love of my life. Without you, baby, feels like I sampled true love. Yeah, but the shit ain't clear. Or could it be that it was all just
a teenage love, but you say he's just a friend. Paul was one of those characters, like first episode, I was like, ooh, I'm really loving Paul. I thought he was so intelligent, intuitive, and even amidst his mental illness, I was so excited to see where we were going to go with him. And when we lost him first, I was like, damn. I was so touched the first time I saw it, because I really wasn't expecting it. I thought Paul was an extremely great character. I thought we would get him and lose him episode 3. No, we took Paul out episode 1. But that just goes to show how impactful his character was in his death, because we still feel it throughout the whole show. But Lestat courts his ultimate companion, offering freedom. You better do that, Lestat. You better do that, Lestat. A handsome man with the most disagreeable disposition. You are his destiny, Louis. broken, stagnant, lonely, and desperate after losing Nikki. Now, I just was, you couldn't tell me nothing about Lestat when he got there. I was like, oh, this vulture, he coming here to suck my boy dry. When we learned about the state that Lestat was in prior to this, and the fact that he wasn't even trying, I'm not going to New Orleans. I was on the ship head to St. Louis. But something about you and just about this situation drew me to New Orleans for me to be here. But Lestat is a half of a man. We still wearing our early 19th century threads. He throwing his money around at this point because that's all he had to do. I'll even take Miss Lily. I just looked at Lestat, so then I had Lestat is still very much Lestat. He's a vampire, he's a predator, he murders, but just he looks so broken to me, trying to put up this facade to court Louis while also, you know, emasculating him, taking things away like Miss Lily. But at first I thought it was just emasculation, but now it was just like when we heard Louis say, I was just enamored. I wanted to, you know, be the man. I wanted to see and know more about him. And it's just like, let me show him bit by bit exactly what I can do. And, you know, the kind of money that I have. Like, let me drop down some of this allure of a vampire. So when I really offer you the gift, it'll, you know, let me entice you. I just feel like he was, you know, you were being courted. I mean, are we not dating, Ashley?
Oh, this was definitely a subtle seduction, right? Everything he doing, he looking in your eyes. Like he got Miss Lily rubbing her down, up and down. I said, is he gonna just pull out? I mean, is he gonna pull out her kitty cat right here at the table? And Louis is just, you know, he said, I was emasculate. He said it was emasculation and admiration in equal measure. And I was like, dang, he said, I hated him. I wanted to unalive him, but then I wanted to be him. And every second, Lestat is gazing into Louis's eyes, even as he's rubbing Miss Lily down. I said, you know, Lestat. It was a subtle seduction, absolutely. From the moment Lestat saw Louis on that street, okay, because you know when they're at this table at their little throuple date, he's like, you know, I saw a man on the street and it made me move here. You made me move here. And Louis said, I know you think we all look alike, but I don't know you, bruh. And Lestat was like, you don't understand. I saw a man pull out his blade and ready to gut somebody like a fish, and it turned me on. And I'm like, Lord, have mercy. Louis. But it was like Louis tried to throw out his little money. Lestat said, oh, no, baby, I buy the bar and get him whatever he likes too. I was like, listen, I mean, who's the pimp here? But no, you're absolutely right. It was definitely a subtle seduction. He was methodical and intentional about getting Louis. And y'all, for whatever you say, and I know y'all love Lestat down, it was irresponsible for him to turn Louis without giving him all of the facts and all of the information. Like he ain't even tell the man he couldn't walk in the daylight. Lestat.
I mean, I can't tell you everything. Everything, like that's the whole thing. Like I'm gonna call it a dark gift, but if I tell you you're gonna have to watch everyone around you die, isolate yourself from your family, have a bloodlust, be out here being vampiric on these New Orleans streets, you might not want it. Then you might not want me. I gotta, you know, let you know stuff in increments. Okay.
I mean, hell, he had me too. Like, look at me. Who finna say no? Who was about to turn him down? Look at that. That was the gaze. I don't even know. He didn't even have to ask the question in that moment, and I was like, yes, yep. I don't even know what it is, but yep, I agree. Yep, I'll do that. I'm cool. He came in there. He was too smooth, dressed too nice. He looked like he smelled good. He came in there real smooth, and he watched Louis closely for a while. He watched him, so he knew. I know exactly what to do to go on and slide in there, and did just that. And Louis fell for it. But at this, who wouldn't?
It was Kay. I thought off the back, I was like, oh, he's attracted to Louis, and you know, because he calls Louis beautiful like every 5 seconds. I was like, no, if we're going into reading Louis' thoughts and we get into later about all of this sorrow he saw depicted in this resentment and regret, like you need freedom just as much, you know, outside of the vampiric stuff. Like I feel like he, in his mind, he thought he could help Louis. I'm helping you. It's a gift. And I love in season 2, Louis realizes exactly what that meant and what the gift was. Elle?
So baby, when Lestat first pulled up, I was like, this the Lestat we supposed to be like fiending over, because he was dressed like Count Dracula and it was throwing me off and I was confused. I just wasn't here for it. But then when he started, when him and Lily and Louis were at the table, I was like, what did he do? Because it's the same person in the same Count Dracula outfit, but he was putting on the jazz, on the sizzle. And I was like, okay, so this is the Lestat then. Okay, so this is, okay, so I see what's going to happen now. Because he was seducing me, okay, in 2023. And I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting that, okay? And Sam Reed with a ponytail is top tier. So anytime you give me Sam Reed in a ponytail, half up, half down, all the way up, it don't matter. I'm gonna be a part of it, okay? But I thought, I don't know how to all the vampire. I need like a little manual, because I don't know how the vampire stuff works still. Like, can they just seduce any damn body? Like, I don't know if that's how it works, because I'm like, baby, y'all he done froze time and y'all talking, but you're not a vampire, so you're not supposed to know how that works. And how does all of that work? It was very confusing, but I was very intrigued. And so from that moment, Lestat had me locked in. I was sat down, okay. And I just feel, he had to do that to Lily at the end of it all, because I felt bad for her. They didn't even let her get in on the threesome. They
didn't go to sleep.
Yeah. I was like, she can't get a little kiss, a little rub, nothing.
Your favorite line, rest. He told me.
Yeah. And I was like, that's selfish. Like, y'all could at least let her get down for like a little 5 to 10 minutes session, but they just made poor Lily go to sleep, and then she was dead. Child, we ain't never see her again. So R.I.P. to Lily.
I think what made me look at Lestat so differently was I never considered that he does have that much power and control as a vampire. And for the most part, until later on, he didn't use it on Louis. He wanted Louis to come to him willingly. Yes, we did, which I think was like code for, oh, you're down because I'm reading minds and freezing time and we're sitting at this table and you're not running for your life. So clearly you're enticed by some of these things I'm able to do. But I don't think until, well, for me, like towards the end, Louis had free will. And I think Steve's looking at me crazy. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, because y'all wild out here. Yes, Louis looks good. He's looking great with the broad forehead, nose, chin, everything looks good. But this man is the devil. And what does the devil know how to do? The devil knows how to tempt you with what you want, right? He knows that Louis wants a little bit of freedom. He knows that Louis wants to feel like a man. Like he's like, oh yeah, these people treat you like, trash, but you're this and you're that. He's building them up verbally so he can seduce him and get him to the point that he's going to agree to anything that this man says. This was a manipulation from jump. It was a manipulation from jump. And we also know it's a manipulation because he doesn't even offer him the dark gift until Louis is at his lowest, literally crying and begging in the church. And that's when he's like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can do that. He's tempting him with the apple. And we're going to act like Louis isn't the victim. Lestat is the devil reincarnated himself. He killed off Lily for no damn reason. Oh, it's her beautiful life. What would she would have been? He wasn't even like apologetic. So like, yeah, he was a mess, and he definitely lured Louis in purposefully. So he didn't put the little vampire mesmer on him because it was a child. He wanted to, I feel like this was just, can I do this? This is what.
Wow. Now can I do this thing?
It was a, can I do this? Let me see if I can do this. And that's all this was at the beginning, a manipulation.
Well, I thought Lestat saw someone suffering just as much as he was.
He saw a daddy. He was like, "Ooh, yeah, daddy. He's about to handle me in the bedroom, child." That's what I told y'all. Lestat is a switch. Last season, y'all like, no, he's doing the bending. And I said, he wants to be bent over. That's why he wants.
I cannot. So you feel no ways towards Lestat episode 1 revisit. You still feel like Lestat ain't squat.
Lestat is a master manipulator for
That's
sure.
reserved for Armand. What are we talking about here?
Armand too. He did the same thing to Louis. The same thing that Lestat's doing to Louis in season 1, where he's getting slowly separating him from his family and those who love him. The same thing that Armand was doing for Claudia is the same thing Lestat was doing with all of his family members.
Now,
But
fake
that's
Rasheed
what I'm
wasn't even
talking
doing
about.
nothing.
But see, that's what I'm talking about when we get into, slowly separating. He went willingly with Lestat, met up. He says, like, from this moment when he does what he does at the poker table, from that night on, we spent every night together. I wanted to know how and what he used to do what he do. Like, we love, he out here shopping, getting him up to date wardrobe, fixing up this little pad and everything. They're dating. Like, he was with this man willingly. It wasn't like he put the boom doom Santeria on him, put them roots on him, as he said when he got in that damn church. He got roots on me. You want no roots on you.
That was part of the manipulation. He watched him at first, studied him, saw what he was missing, saw what he wanted, and offered it to him at his lowest moment. It's all manipulation. I see you, Lestat.
Now I will say though, when I watched back at Paul's funeral, when Lestat pulled up and was like, "What you doing? Like, let's go." Like, I was like, Louis.
That's when I feel like the Lestat, the manipulate, the extra stuff that was setting in, because at that moment Louis wasn't interacting with him or giving him what he wanted. Like, I don't ever want to see you again after this night that we shared, and not only that, but I've lost my brother. And you have the audacity to roll up talking about he was begging for that flagstone. He was begging to hit that pavement. Like, how insensitive. Like, all right, Lestat.
Yeah,
How insensitive and uncaring can you be? But I can only go so far with that, because he's a vampire. Like, he can give two damns about Lily, nothing. I'm zeroing in on what I want. But I just this is what it is. I wanted to be the man. All I could think about was Lestat. Lestat ain't put that there. He was thinking about Lestat all on his own. Paul is getting worse. Gives sisters tickets to travel the world. I want to meet this French white. It's a different white. It's a French white. This French white businessman. And from there on, every night, we spent every night together. Louise was enchanted with Lestat's abilities and also falling in love. I did not pay attention to that, because by the time we get to the church scene, I felt like Lestat was at his wit's end with Louis, though the situation, like, this is not the time to roll up on me at the funeral. Like, you love me. I love you too. Like, you want to be with me. You're denying your feelings, who you are and who you want to be with. Like, I'm sick of playing with you. All of the priests, all of that up in the church, I'm sick of playing with your ass. That's what it was for me. But this here, the sister, she does mention at this point, like, Paul is getting worse. We should maybe, look into this really nice facility. And Louis at the moment was like, no, that's not even a question. We're not doing that. I do like the fact that he gifted Grace tickets to travel the world. I feel like we inadvertently have him doing that in the end. Season 2 with Claudia, while they're trying to find Coven. So I thought that was cool. But this is just like, I just wasn't as mad at Lestat as I was before, and I couldn't figure out why, child. But I know why, because it was shared, like, because Louis made us feel like I was being haunted. I was like, were you? You were, but were you? You were participating. That's what I got, actually.
Yeah, he was hunting Louis for all intents and purposes. And again, this is why me and Lestat was into it this first episode, because you're disrespectful. You're disrespectful, sir. Ain't no way you gonna mock Paul in his transition. Come on, this man is grieving and you calling out to him. And let's talk about why he got to his lowest. It's because, according to this narration, Lestat would not leave him alone. He was calling him. He got that good D that one night and said, I can never do it again. Let me go see about Miss Lily. I can go in her room, pretend that we doing it, and we can talk up, girl chat until 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't want to embark down this road again, because it's going to be problematic. But yeah, I mean, Lestat was problematic. I do think he encouraged him. They did become besties. Like you said, they were spending every waking moment together. He's like, I'll never understand why these clear men in your country treat y'all the way they do, but they don't respect you. They don't value you. The poker game sent me, if I can be honest, because as much as we forget it in season 2, race played such a major role in season 1. And when they're talking about, oh, Louis is the most discreet Negro, I mean, he was every kind of adjective Negro within these first 3 episodes when you watch it back. And Lestat is there, this Caucasian man, that's saying, no, you're more than that. You're better than that. You don't have to take that. And so I think there were a lot of different elements at play in the turn. But again, I don't think he understood the capacity of what life would be like as a vampire. But come on, y'all can't deny Lestat was villainous towards the end of this first episode. Absolutely villainous. He was.
So I agree, Ashley, and I'm gonna go off on a tangent because I got a PhD in tangentiality, child. I just be going off. But when I'm looking at the picture of Louis and his sister, and I remember thinking the first watch and this watch about when the sister wanted to put, what's her name? Lena? Grace. Yeah.
Grace.
Where did it come from? I don't know where that came from, but Grace, she wanted to put, Paul in a facility. And Louis was like, no. And that pissed me off because Louis was in the street.
Yeah.
Grace was at the house with Paul. You know what I mean? Grace was the one that was trying to having to deal with that. And Louis just saw, what he wanted for his brother. That was just selfish. Anyway, but yeah, the poker scene ate down. Okay. That's when in this episode, that's when the performances was ramping up. Because when Lestat told, like, Lestat is trash. We all know. We know that. But he was pouring into my baby Louis. You understand what I'm saying? You taking 10% of this deal, and that's like scraps. Like, you deserve more than that. Like, you deserve everything. You deserve, all that they have and everything that you've earned and worked for. He was like pouring into my boy Louis, and he cheated in the poker game and made him win the poker game. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was really here for it. And I really loved this part of the episode because they really were courting, baby. All you needed was like a little song in the background. It would have been like a little montage in a rom-com because they was going on moonlit walks down in the French Quarter, baby. They was having dinner and drinks and chatting about books and stuff, and I was like, this is very cute. Okay, so I was like rooting for it, even though I knew that Lestat was trash and Louis wasn't rap tight, and it just had me rooting for them from this point forward. And that's when I started to be confused about my own decision making.
I'm with L. I am with L because it wasn't as predatory as I found it to be that first season, because we only had Louis' narrative at this point. So when we go back, it's just, I was like, this is courting. You guys were like low-key dating. Matthew Wilson, thank you so much for the $5. Just because you're you. I'm not sure who this is from. Is this for you? It's for you? No, thank you. Just because you. Just because you. Now I want to switch gears and get over here to the gremlin.
Lord.
You're lingering, Rasheed. Rasheed, the young servant with a bit of discontent for the interview. The discretion in Armand's meek demeanor is amazing. Like, Armand might as well, and I know we haven't really gotten into it. He is just so like not here. The way that we could switch and play this role, I would love to know, like, why out of all things they decided to go this route. Rasheed could have been anything. He could have been anything, right? Like, you're the servant boy. Like, Kay, I'm gonna come to you first. Why do you think they decided to not have Armand be Armand, but be Rasheed the servant, and not start off this interview as they ended up together? Like, why was he playing this role?
First of all, they all was playing a role. So yeah, that whole Lestat and Louis, they was playing the cat and mouse game. Wasn't even Lestat was hunting Louis, but Louis was playing the mouse. They was playing the cat and mouse game. This is what they do. Y'all got to remember now. Rasheed / Armand is from the theater. He said, "Oh, Daniel's coming." Let me go on and dust off these little books and stuff so I can get back into role. I ain't did no act. I ain't been on the stage in a while. Let me put on a show.
Why?
And he had all y'all fooled until that last episode. He had everybody.
It's not like Daniel remembered a little bit of who he was. Like later on, when we get into it, he does, start to have glitches of something. It's right here. I'm remembering you, and it took us up until season 2 to figure that out. Like, why? Why the show? We really needed all this to get back to our theater roots.
Yes. He said this is the perfect opportunity to put on a show. Why not? And he trying to write this book that ain't finna come out because I'm finna sabotage it. But let me go ahead and put on this show because see, Daniel, first of all, he ungrateful that I saved his life. So first of all, he ain't even gonna say thank you of what I did. So you know what? For him being ungrateful, let me go ahead and be snooping around in the corner. He was in the shadows. Every chance you get, he was in the corner of your eye, playing the role.
Be thankful for something you don't even remember. I don't even remember that.
He should. He was alive. Who else saved him? Who else did it?
See? How are you feeling about Rasheed? I just love how transparent Rasheed is. Like, we had no idea that Rasheed was anybody.
I just love his commitment to the bit. Like he was in it.
Yes.
So much so that he starved himself in order to get the human-like looking eyes. Like he was down. Look at the eyes. It ain't giving
and scene.
Sweet.
He was there for the bit. But that's another thing about Armand and Lestat as well. They are manipulators. This is something that they derive enjoyment from. Being a vampire is a long life, and it can be boring. And they do whatever to bring a little bit of excitement into their life. So this manipulation, this trickery, this show brings a little excitement. It gets him there. It's a little edge. Like he's edging him right now with this.
It just felt like, you know what? I'm calling Daniel to come down here. You don't want to be a part of the little interview? Fine. Well, you got to do something around here. What would you like? What? Why, Ashley? Why this?
Yeah, look at Arun there. Look at Amadeo right there, because that's what he looked like. He don't even. Anyway, the thing about Armand, right? This was all a feeble attempt to pacify Louis, right? Because we know from season 2, Armand ain't want nothing to do with Daniel or this book. He remembered 73 like it was yesterday, and he was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So he said, all right, I'm going to pretend to be Rasheed while you do this little thing. You know how the husbands do for the Real Housewives, right? They say, girl, go on. This is your hobby today. Go on and do your hobby. I'm a chill in the cut. That's what Armand fake Rasheed was doing. Also, he wanted to do his mind bending. So what better place than in the background making cocktails with vermouth to do his little mind trickery games with everybody. And I liked how Daniel called him out. Like, listen, I like to do these interviews one-on-one. And Louis, Rasheed, you're lingering. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. No, you're not, because you're bending truth and time. It was probably all a part of his plan. Schema, deceiver, heartbreaker.
It was. I feel like he was, well, I don't want nothing to do with this. Well, fine, but I still want to be close. Just I don't need nothing coming out or being said that I don't know about. I don't need no untruths. So I'm gonna be over here pretending to dust.
Okay, so when season 2 ended, I wasn't ready for it to end, right? So I just immersed myself in all of the fan edits and the Reddit threads and all the stuff, right? And I saw somebody posted on TikTok a photo of Louis and Armand's bedroom in Dubai. Mm-hmm. And in the bedroom, there are chairs all around the bed for people to sit in and view, right? Ooh, in the middle of the bed. And on the wall, there are whips and chains and whatnots, right? And I didn't clock that.
Why you ain't seen that to us?
Because listen, I'm still coming to grips with it. And it just hit my head when y'all were talking and my girl C said edging. I said, baby, wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold the line. Because was this, yes, I know he wanted to be there. He knows it. He got to be a part of it. He got to know what's going on. He want to make sure everything is in control. But this also could have been like a little freaky little something. You know what I'm saying? This could have been like a long-term, all-day session of dime and sub, and I'm the servant, and you the big boss. And then when we go in the bedroom, then we might invite some folks in there to watch and see what happens. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, I like that. Okay.
Please send that to me, please, personally.
I'm gonna
to
send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you, girl.
That's what they would do with all them boys they said they had over the years, right? Because didn't they say they kept a collection of cute little boys?
Yep.
Probably
I
pretend
didn't know they
he
were doing
be
all
doing
that.
it. He be in there sitting on the chair just like one of the boys, as if he was like just picked up off the streets. That's their game. That's what they like to do.
You know, you gotta keep stuff spicy after spending so many years together.
I mean, after 500 years, you got to, he was bored sometimes.
And on that particular note, we gonna show some love to Armand and his kitty cat because he ain't never played about that. He'll be right back. Why they couldn't let us see that? Why they couldn't let us see them whips and chains in the action? All this time, I was thinking that old Rasheed, Armand, Arum had the most boring beige pillow sex life, and they ain't never. I need to see that. I need to see that.
I'm trying to find it. I'm on my job. I'm gonna send it to y'all, and I'm gonna send it to y'all on IG as soon as I find it.
Please, I need to see that because it was giving beige. It was giving side booty. Okay. Let me read this. Don't do that here. Lestat, I felt like Lestat was triggered by Paul's investment in religion and not so much Paul. When we get to learning about the way Lestat felt about religion beforehand and how he was mocked for it and his father was beating him, took the religion away and locked him up, it kind of reminded me sort of what they were doing with Paul, because he was just getting on everybody's nerves, running around ranting and raving about religion and what y'all need to be doing with the church's money. And he was, eventually locked up. But at this point, Louise is still in control. When he smacks that table and says, "Don't do that here," he sits right back like, I'm gonna do what she said. I'm not gonna do that here, with your family. And we still are putting on that mask. The fact that we can't even at this moment embrace, he took me to the opera and I enjoyed it. I was, brought to tears. It was beautiful. We just so on point with not being weak that we can't even say that. And I love the fact that we have Lestat say that you probably envy Paul. And he's like, for what? Paul's out of his mind. It's like, no, Paul, amongst everything that may be going on in his mind, he is freely able to be in his truth and be himself 24/7. You're constantly lying and putting on this facade of who you really are and what you really may be like in your life. See, don't do that here.
So I thought it was interesting when we see Lestat slowly starting to come into how he is. He did grow up religious, he did want to be in the monastery and all of that, even so much so that he started to court a nun after this. One of my favorite books, by the way. I can't wait till we get to that season. But but yeah, the how he's showing his A at the dinner table, child, I couldn't believe it. I can believe it now because I know Lestat is the devil, but just to see how he did that in front of his family, sir. And it's was it an attempt to further ostracize him from his family? I don't know. Clearly he has an agenda. The agenda of Lestat is to get Louis to himself, and the having Paul clock him as much as he did. Louis ain't like that. That. To the point that I wouldn't be surprised if he did have something little to do with the death of Paul. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past him.
I thought he had a little admiration for Paul. I didn't feel I didn't think he cared as much as I did before with the whole, because that was my thing. I was like, he isolated him. He wanted to get him away from Paul because he wanted him all to himself. And Paul was the only, other man, brother he was ever closest to. Like, that comes along with being a vampire. It's just like, once you accept this dark gift, I don't got to worry about that anyway. You ain't gonna have no choice but to separate yourself from your family. And we saw that because mama, like, what you need to do is get off my property. You and your dark shades, get the hell away. Like, it was that right off the back. So I don't think he cared as much. Like, as soon as we got like towards here, I had no question, because you couldn't tell me that Lestat did not kill Paul.
Mhm.
Give a damn what nobody said. I was like, Lestat killed Paul with intentions of having Louis closer to himself. If y'all go back and look at us recap season 1 before season 2 started, I was dead in him. This is when I was like, he didn't kill Paul. He didn't. I was flabbergasted.
But I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. And the way he did the things that he did to Claudia and even help her at the end of season 2, I wouldn't be surprised if he did the same thing to Paul. I'm not putting nothing past this demon.
Oh Lord, Kay.
All of these vamps have some kind of trauma, because Paul triggered Lestat. That's why he went off like that. He triggered him. And they all had, just like Louis has his triggers, Armand has his triggers. And Paul triggered him because Paul said, I see you. Now, let me tell you one thing about people that ain't in their right mind. They real connected spiritually. So when he said, I see you, and being that we know Lestat can also read minds, Lestat knows that. He didn't have to say who he was, what he was, where he came from. He could read Paul's mind and know, oh, he see me. Like he know who I am for real. So when Paul said what he said, it was coming from a real place. Like, I'm not scared of you. I know who you really are. And I don't think, Lestat had been moved in that way before. I don't think nobody has said that to him in a long time. So he got a little triggered from it. And Louis, what happened to this? Don't do that here. Where was that at the theater?
Message.
Elle, go ahead.
The scene at the dinner table with the family was weird to me. Because what about the Dulac family says, let me bring my gentleman friend over for dinner. All right. Like, we do business together. That's like, let me come over Sunday morning after church. Let me come see y'all after we gonna have a little afternoon tea. Not coming over for dinner. That they don't seem like the gentleman caller, I'm gonna accept your friend, your special friend kind of family. Yeah. So it was just a weird scene to me. I don't know why Louis would even want to do that. I didn't understand the point of that, because he keeps his personality separate, very separate, right? Who he is in Storyville is not who he is when he's with his family. Yeah. And he brought Lestat into his home and then got mad when Lestat was Lestat. Like, baby, you know what he been doing. He been putting the mojo on you since 5 minutes into the episode. So now he's being himself at the table. So that's, I don't know. It was a strange thing to me. But I did like in this first episode, the thread of religion through the episode, because the Catholic religion is very restrictive, right? Not that, religion in general is, but Catholicism is really, really restrictive, right? And so to have that restrictive religion in a place as loose morally as New Orleans is always interesting. I would assume it would be a little easier to be a Catholic in South Dakota than it would be in New Orleans, right? You don't have all these vices at your disposal, right? So I thought, and as a Catholic myself, I really enjoyed seeing that. And hearing Lestat talk about, his experiences with it. And we know Louis, from later on in the episode got his trauma with it. But that was a really cool part for me. And then, of course, long live Paul, because Paul was like, I'm not about to sit at the table with this. I don't know what this is, but it's not right. And I'm going to say something. So once again, long live Paul.
I thought it was just like Grace not only was like, oh, you know, bring him up. I want to meet this French wife, but it was just like, I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all. The family knew. I know who your friend. It's just like, you know, your aunt of all years, like been living like, oh, she been living with her best friend for 20 years. Yeah, hey, auntie. You know that auntie? This was very much that. Like the family knew, and I felt like Mama was just like, oh, it's a nice French white man that can, you know, lend some potential more money towards the family. Like if y'all doing business, sure, bring on over. I'm about that. And it's just
now, if he would have been black, if Lestat would have been black, would Mama Dulac have sat at the table with him? You think?
I don't know. I don't. We can't say that.
I don't think she would have.
Nope.
And to tell you the truth, when I saw Grace's husband, that surprised me, baby, because Grace's husband was chocolate. And
he must have some money.
Yeah, but I don't think he did, because they was taking out a loan for the house, and they found work in Boston at the end. Seemed like he was just a regular guy. So you know, I know like people literally in 2024. I know Creole families in New Orleans in the 7th Ward who will not allow their children to date or marry people who are my complexion or darker. So the fact that Levy came through there with all his melanin, baby, with his little afro and his little shoulders, I said, okay, baby, y'all confused me. The Dulacs confused me. So,
Ashley?
Yeah, a lot. So to agree with Kay's point, and to kind of disagree with you, C, just a little bit. I don't think that it was about Paul at the dinner table for Lestat. I think this was one of the moments he wasn't being manipulative. I honestly think he has religious trauma. Like I really felt that deep in my heart of hearts that was just a sore spot for him. And I do think that he recognized that Paul was somehow in touch, right, with the divine. I'll say that. I too, like Elle said, loved the kind of talk of religion at the table, and I really felt like they were mirroring each other almost in a way, both Lestat and Paul. Paul again hearing accurately and clearly, them little birds was telling him the truth. They said he the devil. and he talked to me without moving his lips. Listen, I know who Lestat is, and I love that, and I liked how they talk, how it kind of expressed how the extremes, right, like being a zealot in anything can become destructive. So I liked that note there at the dinner table. I also, as far as the mama, we back on her. As long as them bills is paid, I don't think it was a problem. And I do think that Louis, if he had a more melanated little friend, okay, he'd have been over, because the little boyfriend used to go to the house. The little boyfriend went to the house and talked to Grace to find out. Well, that's in a different episode. But yeah, maybe. I don't know. They knew what he was, who he was, and who he was doing it with since he was a little boy. You know. But Louis also knew who his family was and that they're about appearances. And I think that's why he was like, I'm not going to talk to them about the opera. I'm not going to talk to them about that, because at the end of the day, he really couldn't be his soft, vulnerable, you know, true self, if that's the true Louis.
Now it had to be Cochon, bro. It had to be over there doing that. It had to be over there doing that. Oh. Y'all, let me get this good old super chat. Y'all know how to get a couple shots. I ain't wanted to be too naked, but I had to get some of it. Thank you, Drew Chase, for the $5. I heard it said the vampires at the theater wrote Claudia's play based on Paul's demise. The birds. Oh no! Wait, the birds and the jumping to the death. Welcome back, ladies. Thank you. What is that? What? When they said that?
Oh yeah, when I told y'all them theater vampires hate them, that's what I mean when I said they hate them. They hate run so deep. They was playing in Louis' face that whole time, re-triggering him, re-traumatizing him by watching his sister daughter sing a song that resembled the way he lost his brother. All the mind games was real in that theater.
Oh, let me take this. Thank you so much, Drew Chase. I did not know that.
Even the play they saw, it was something similar to that, like a woman wanted to be
that. I swear that never crossed my mind. That never crossed my mind. God damn it, Santiago. Fancy always with the antics. Oh, I can't even say Santi, you gremlin, you bum. This is why we can't stand you, Armand.
Mhm.
Oh, begging Claudia to get up there and sing that raggedy ass song.
And Armand let him do it.
Mhm.
Lord.
Our mom probably wrote the song. He probably choreographed the dance and wrote the song. Let's be for real.
Yep.
He probably did.
You loser. You'll never find anybody, you punk. I vow to never see him again. Stat wanted Louis to come willingly. And Louis always initiated the first move. Whenever they are getting into any sexual situations, like, if you would, I would think if like you're being haunted and I'm just like, it's just like, no, I think he wanted him to love and come to him willingly. Like I was waiting on Lestat because it wasn't how I remembered. I was like, so we're gonna put little Grace to sleep. First of all, we're gonna not Grace, Lily. We're gonna use Lily because he ain't gonna want to come up here and be his true self if I don't give him some type. Lily's up there. Come on up there. We got to disguise this somehow. That's when the manipulation comes in. But when he's up here and I tell Lily, rest. I want you to come to me willingly. I want you to offer your body, your whatever to me willingly. Now I'm gonna bite you on the neck and all that other stuff. We don't know nothing too much about the dark gift, but just the exploration of just the sex or any of that, I was like, oh, it's Louis kind of initiating the situation here. And I also love the fact that we have Lestat bring up Nikki when he plays the sound in the music box, and he's like, it's a violinist with a beautiful, sensitive soul. I was like, oh, that's little darling Nikki. Elle, how did you feel about the scene? Because when I tell you we have been deprived of all the vampiric sex, I was like, yes, this is we ain't getting none of this second season. None of it.
Listen, I said, y'all know I'm a creep. I said, baby, I need to see more sex in the air. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody be having sex on the ground, and that's cool. You having sex in the bed, fine. Take me to the sky, baby. Like, take me up
the air.
Okay, take me to the air. I say, baby, listen, if you would like, I just wanted to see more of that. And they came in, so it just really happened so fast. Like we didn't even really get a chance to like settle in. You know what I'm saying? Like they told Lily go to sleep, and the next thing we know, we was in there. And I said, okay, baby, y'all got a show on y'all hands, okay? Because that scene was fantastic. That's when I really started to, but prior to this scene, I never really clocked the chemistry between Sam and Jacob or Lestat and Louis. But this scene right here, though, and it wasn't even about the sex. It was like they were like longing for each other. It was like, I'm thirsty for you. You know what I mean? And I was like, that there. Yes. Yeah.
It is. And this was when we find out, which I didn't pay attention to before. I thought with Lily being Louis's beard, when they linked up, they were doing something sexual. She's like, no, we just talk.
No, we just hang out.
We don't do anything. We just hang out and talk. And
but now he
moment,
did. He went down on her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, so did you just do that? I was wondering about that. Like, did he just do that just because he just was excited about it? Like, I don't know.
I think he was still trying to pretend up until that point. Like, so? Yeah, he don't know what me and Miss Lily do. Yeah, I'm a man's man. All right, I can eat a little box. What are you talking about? I ain't here for you. You are here for me. That's why when I put her to sleep, you was all over this. But I did notice at this moment that's why I keep saying like he wanted him to come willingly. When he does bite Louis, he cuts his finger to like complete the transformation and blend that blood, but Louis stops him and he's just like, well, if you're not ready for the dark gift and you don't want it yet, I guess I'm just gonna wait. But he does practice restraint here. He doesn't go all the way because Louis didn't want it at this moment. See,
this was just an example of Lestat wanting someone to bend him over and take it. This is why he wasn't touching him at first, because he was waiting for Big Daddy to come over to him and show him what's what. That's what it was giving. And the fact that he took out Lily was, again, him taking out someone that Louis was close to. He used to come to her every night just to talk, child. And he said, oh, no, not anymore. I'm your only shoulder to lean on. You got to go, Lily. Sorry. And yeah, that's what it was. Just Lestat being manipulative. Lestat dangling something in front of him that he's like I said, he's researched Louis. Finding every gap, every place that he could fill in, every desire, and he became that for Louis in order to seduce him into this dark gift without telling him all of the bad, without telling him about the loneliness, that you'll have to leave your family, that you'll live forever and ever, but you won't be like a complete person. You'll have to kill people. It's like all of this stuff he kept hidden because he wanted to manipulate this man and be bent over like he was in it.
Well, I thought he took literally like, oh, you really not gonna talk to me? You really gonna have me waiting every night on this raggedy balcony? Oh, okay, I'm finna drain her. Like, it was that. And then it was also in Lestat's twisted mind, because, you know, later on when he questions him and asks him, like, did you kill Paul? And he's like, no, I would never hurt your family. Like, I'm not doing that. It's like, I'm not doing that. But hell, she ain't family. That's merely a prostitute. She ain't nobody gonna miss her. Just sick man. Sick Lily ain't do nothing. She deserved that. Ashley?
Yeah, this part, I mean, I can't front. It kind of tickled me. And I was under the impression that while they talked, they did do a few other little things. You know, again, you know, when he's talking to Daniel present day, he's like, you know, then I hadn't fully embraced my smexuality. So I was trying different things. So I think that maybe he and Miss Lily had tried a little couple things, because it wasn't until she gives him the go ahead that he's like, okay, I can bust it wide open for Lestat. And it seemed to me as though Lestat was the one doing the bending in this scene. If my memory calls, see, I don't know if Louis was.
He's a switch. They be going back and forth and switching it out.
Okay. But yeah, but when he and Lily, you know, they start making out, doing all the things, and he looks over at Lestat like, what, you like to watch? And I'm like, Louis, what kind of. That again goes into what y'all said, present day. He's in the freak factory. But what I actually enjoyed more than this scene was Louis' retelling of it to Daniel, because this is when we get back to, you know, the Le Petit drink, which was what Lestat did to Louis in this moment, right? Like, taste you just enough, and it's supposed to evoke or elicit like the most intimate or the best high you've ever had. And he's like, yeah, Daniel, remember when you used to go to the gay bars to cop? You remember that time, you know, you got the highest. So he's like, multiply that times 100. It was the shade of it all. And it was also the fact that after Louis, you know, self-proclaimed had the best night of his life, he's like, I can never do that again. I need to go home. I need to wash away my sins and go spend time with my family. It was nice. I'm never going to indulge in that way again, which kind of speaks to the time, speaks to him, because also present day, he now says, you know, I hadn't embraced it. He said, now I know who I am. You know, I'm fully embracing of it. But yeah, this scene and the retelling of it tickled me a little bit.
Kay, were you here for the smacks?
I want to offer another angle here, because see, y'all missing it. Okay. So remember when Lestat took him to the moon and beyond and dropped him? And Daniel said, so you didn't know he could fly up until then? And Louis was like, no, he didn't reveal that to me. So what was y'all doing in the air? Look at the lies. Look at the lies. Again, Louis starting off lying. So he gonna say, oh yeah, I never knew he could do that. But y'all was having y'all was having smashing air all the time, just up there floating in just pure bliss. But then all of a sudden, when y'all in a spat, I didn't know he could. I didn't know he had that gift. Boy, sit down.
They was hovering in the bedroom. He was soaring at that other episode. I haven't watched it in a minute. There's a difference.
A pinch of the cloud.
But he knew he could get the feet was off the ground. He knew he could lift him up.
He was delusional.
Oh Lord. But I just love this. And it made me miss like the lack of sex we got in the next season. And it just reminded me, which we're gonna have to go back to. I'm just refusing to believe it was bells and whistles in there with Armand. It just never gave that. But I'm always here for this humping. Y'all keep humping and give us all the humping y'all need to in season 3. We'll be right back.
Stop talking, just come suck it. When it's
Bet the ops gon' duck it. We kick smoke up, they keep bucket. Break up with shit's over. Pretty but it gets scary October. I'm not this place where I told them. When I get mad, I lose my composure. Don't want no smoke, they want exposure. He wanna eat it again just for closure. If he I might let him come over. I'm all in his mouth like a guy. Full play, so I need me a big meal. Big boss, so a big meal. Big pins back out with the big wheels. Big LEO, I'm a big deal. Look that up, we not humping. Skies on my block jumping. Jump out the back truck, we start jumping. In the field with 100 bands, no trumpet.
Don't put it up. Don't put the D up. Bring the D out in season 3, please. Armand had us out here starving. All them little kisses and being Romeo over the balcony. We don't need that. All this romance. We don't want that. Come on with the levitation sex. Let's go. I'm with L. More up in the Essex. Oh, you're the reason Paul will burn in hell. Immortal sins must be confessed, Louis. Leave Lestat alone. He is the devil. Paul wanted to die and said his goodbyes in his own way. Y'all, the way we be paying attention when we go back to something, I was like, oh, Paul, this was Paul's little last will and testament here. He knew he was going to do this, regardless of what was happening. Like, I didn't even notice until this rewatch that Paul didn't even bother to stand at the wedding. he want to join in when he's the ABCDFGs, like, come on, honor our father and dance for old time's sake. Paul didn't even want to dance. He was like, you know what, fine. He had to be convinced to go over there and do that. All of that. I ate the checkered cake. I ate some boudin balls. I had some of everything I would have ever wanted to have, because I'm about to leave this world immediately. He makes sure, Grace is secure. Is the man going to take care of her? Do you think he loves her? She needs a lot of love. Louis, I love you too. But before I leave off of here, I need you to leave that man alone. You know the Hazel who he was bumping the ground with on the dance floor? Yeah, man, get married to a good old Christian girl. I need you to get away from that man. It's like, yeah, I'm never gonna see him again. And when he says, immortal sins must be confessed, it's like, I know what you're doing, okay? I know what you're doing, Louis. I know who you're doing it with. Stop it. Don't do that no more. I need to go out of here knowing that my family is going to be okay. I was so in the pocket with myself. I was like, it wasn't Lestat this whole time. I've been blaming Lestat for Paul this whole time, and I was wrong. Oh, eat some checkered cake. Struggle Reviews TV. See, do you feel like Lestat had anything to do with Paul's passing, or do you feel like it was all Paul?
I think he has something to do with it. Maybe not directly, but indirectly. He's old enough to know how to push buttons, how to do triggers and set things into alignment. So I wouldn't put it past him, especially considering his history of getting rid of everybody that Louis loved. I wouldn't be shocked. That's all I'm gonna say. He knew what the hell he was doing with Paul. And poor Paul, he trying his best. He's just out here trying his best. That's one thing about Paul. So yeah, I still think Lestat has something to do with, be it directly or indirectly, is his fault.
Oh Lord, but he can't catch a break up in here. Ashley, I'm gonna come to you. How do you feel about it, and how did you feel about, or why do you feel like Mama instantly blamed Louis? Like you had to have done something. You had to do something to make him do that to himself.
Mayma is a buck passer. You know what I'm saying? As the people would say, she just wants to pass the buck. I don't think she takes ownership or responsibility for anything that's probably happened in her life. I'm making a whole lot of generalizations because I don't know. We just got these couple of moments with Mayma, right? But she's lived a pretty sheltered and charmed life. We know that her husband, drove the sugar business into the ground. Louis had to come pick up the pieces. So she probably started out blaming her husband for everything that went wrong. Now she's probably blaming Louis, who's the next best thing, for everything that goes wrong in their life. As far as Paul, when I did my recap a couple weeks ago for this, I was like, Lestat did it. I still feel it in my spirit. What he said afterward convinced me. But now knowing Anne Rice said he ain't have nothing to do with it, Sam Reed did an interview, said he had nothing to do with it, I honestly believe, as I alluded to earlier, that Paul felt like he didn't have a place anymore. He felt like Grace is now going to be married, has a husband. Louis has his man, You know, I want him to get a little wife, maybe as a beard, but I know what it is with him. And I don't hold the same position in their lives as I once did. And I think he felt like he was going to be a greater burden. I don't think he felt like there was anything left for him. The only kind of, I guess, back and forth I have in my mind about it, though, is because he did have such a strong religious conviction, what would send him over the edge? So was it a mental break? In this moment, this is like the most sane and clear-headed and lively that we see him, though. So there's just so much confusion and nuance in this time. I'm trying to wonder if there was another vampire around somewhere lurking, just trying to cause havoc.
Playing in the background the whole time.
But no, I'm inclined to believe he knew he no longer had a place, and maybe one of them voices told him something, you know. But it was sad. He went out bad.
I'm not gonna play with y'all. My mom wanted comfort in a chaise lounge. Okay, I'm not gonna play with y'all. Yeah, I think that's what did it for me the first time, when we have just how Lestat was acting, and you have him roll up during the funeral. You know, hey, that's the night. Like, now I'm just like, oh, that was just Lestat being Lestat. He's completely desensitized to religion, death. How old is he? How many people have he seen die? Like, it is what it is. You're gonna come be a vampire with me or not, because you're wasting my time ignoring me. Elle?
Yeah, when I did my recap for season 1, I wasn't solidified on Lestat did it. Ashley, I love your take about him not feeling like he had a place, right? My sister's gone. My brother got, my brother in the street, he got his little French white. What am I going to do? I don't want to be with my mama. Okay. He didn't want to be with his mama in that house. But I don't know. I think for me, it just is difficult. I know what Anne Wright said. I get it. I know what she said, but maybe she don't even know. Maybe she don't know. Okay. She wrote it, but maybe she don't know how it is reading to us. I don't know, but it just is difficult. And that's why I really love Paul's character. He's so interesting, and we only got him for one episode. You know what I mean? And we talked about Paul even up with, the amount of times we talked about Louis and Lestat. Like, he's that interesting, right? So I really don't know. I just know that there are certain things that you are taught as a Catholic. It don't matter where you are in the world. It's certain things that you are taught as a Catholic from the time when you are baptized all the way up until you just die, child. And that is that you do not take your life. And for Paul to be as Catholic and as conservative as he was in his beliefs, I just can't see that. I just cannot see it. And especially because he was so, like you said, Ashley, he was just so clear-headed. He was like, you remember when we used to go walk down to the church on Sundays and we used to chase? He's like, he was remembering things from back in the day. He wasn't slurring his speech. He wasn't rocking back and forth. He was very clear-headed. So my initial thought was that, this is all from Louis' perspective. Louis wasn't paying attention to Paul. Lestat could have been rocking Paul back and forth, knocking his head between the wash and the dryer, and we would never know because Louis wasn't paying attention and we weren't focused on Paul like that. So, I'm inclined to believe that he had oh Lord, I was about to say a push. That would have been a bad phrase to say, but that he had, a catalyst to do that. What the catalyst is, the world will never know. I'm just so sad that he did it, because I would have loved to see Paul interacting with his vampy brother and his little wayward niece.
Yes. Yeah. We got so much of that from Grace, and I enjoyed Grace, but the character that stood out to me as far as their family was always Paul. I was like, I would love to see his interaction with Louis after that transition. And it's just like, you not only did you lay with the devil, but you became one, and you my brother. Oh, that would have been so good. That would have been so good. But that's what I thought too. I was like, he's Catholic, and if you kill yourself, you don't go up there. Like, and he knows that. And I was like, he's devoted. That's all he talks about. It's no way he jumped down there without some pushes from Lestat. But now I'm like, I don't think he did. I think Paul. Okay.
Let me tell you, people like Mama Dulac that is why Black family trauma gets passed down. No accountability. She ain't take accountability for her son being a pimp. She didn't want to take accountability for her other son being crazy. She didn't want to take accountability that her daughter was marrying that broke man, because if he had some money, they wouldn't be trying to borrow money from the bank and from Louis and all that. She didn't want to take accountability for nothing. She probably knew that her husband was, being wayward with the business. She didn't want to take accountability for nothing. And look at Louis, can't never take accountability for nothing. They're just passing down trauma and whatnot.
Listen,
Passing down trauma. And Paul, although religious, religion is not treatment for mental health. And at the end of the day, he still had mental health issues. And we don't know what personalities and what voices told him that jumping is the right thing to do. But Paul should have been medicated and whatnot. He could have been in some therapies and some things. It didn't cure him. And so the symptoms were still there. And Louis was turning a blind eye to Paul's symptoms because he was too busy trying to be in love. It's all Louis' fault.
Again, Kay. Again with the love, Kay. Again with Louis and his love, making everything go wrong. He just pushed everybody to the side once some peen get in his face. Oh, Kay said again. Yeah, y'all, I love this. I knew this was gonna be a mess. When we get to the end, I lay with the devil and I want to die. Child, Louis in there confessing them sins will forever send me. He put roots in. He's in my head. I just cannot get him out. But once we finish those antics, as Louis likes to do, because we were supposed to go to the repast. You were supposed to be down there with them folks, but Mama then ostracized Louis. She's blaming him for the entire thing, and she's like, you know what? I need to go to church and repent and get this man up off me with them roots. He ain't in there 5 minutes of repent. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I'm a cheat. I take daughters off the street as a homeless to put them to work. I'm Lord, please. Lord, Louis. Lestat comes in there like, you know what? I'm over it. How many times I got to tell you to come to me, huh? How many times I got to whisper to you like, now Lestat is absolutely down bad and wrong for rolling up on him as we're trying to bury Paul. You're wrong for calling to me at the funeral. Let me have my time to grieve. Even if you are a vampire and you've seen death over and over, or you knew Paul wanted to die, leave me alone right now. Just let me be. He just couldn't do that. I'm tired of waiting. I want to know what your decision is. Are you going to accept this dark gift or not? And he does. He does. See, he does. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. Oh, right now? That's what we're thinking about, Louis? Right now, he just snatched the whole back of that priest's head off. The church looks like a horror movie scene. He even references like it was a barbaric scene. Like it was just terrible. But in the midst of that, Lestat looked so angelic, and it was just, I was like, I came out with Louis. Your soul reeked of sorrow. Swap out your life of shame for one of unmeasurable power. I see you, and I love you, and you love me too, so stop playing these games. In this moment, he could have chose, and I think I saw someone in the chat say, do you think if Louis would have rejected his gift, if he would have, did it by force? I really feel like that wanted some. Look, see, she can't even hold it. She can't even hold it. I really feel like Lestat wanted it, and I feel like we've seen that throughout these seasons. He wanted Louis to love him. That's all he wanted. He wanted Louis to love him the way that he loved him, and no matter what he was doing, he just couldn't get that. I feel like at this moment, he would have said, "No, leave me alone. I don't want none of that vampiric dark gift. You just snatched out that whole man's head. You sucking on necks in the middle of the church by the pew. You need to go. It's given the power of Christ compels you in here." No, he accepts it and he kills him. And he's reborn this beautiful vampire. I'm just not seeing a lot of rejection on Louis' part. Is this a vulnerable moment? Is Louis at his wit's end? Also, but Lestat is too. I'm tired of playing with you. Not only am I going to come in here and turn, but I'm going to show you the worst of the worst. I'm a whole savage beast, and you still accepted this raggedy ass gift? Elle, what was this?
So right out of the gate, this scene obviously was my favorite part of the episode, but Jacob Anderson's monologue in the confession was flames. It was so good. It was funny. It was funny. I laugh at inappropriate stuff. I told y'all that already. I laughed a little bit, but it was really good. And I thought it was so sad because earlier on in the episode, he had to walk Paul to church, right? So he could go to the confession with that same priest that Lestat ate, right? And he was like, nope, I won't Father McDonald's or whatever the man name was, right? Because Paul was really serious about his confession. And so Louis had seen his brother die, right? Like, we didn't see Paul's body, but Louis did, right? We didn't see the aftermath of like them coming to get his body and having to console his mom and his sisters and all the neighbors coming around and, you know, whatever. We didn't see any of that. We just get him at the funeral, and then his mind is tore up because he can't even grieve because Lestat trying to get his ass in the damn funeral procession. So he's overwhelmed, right? And so he goes to this church seeking refuge, and what does he find? Lestat ate the man in the church, right? So he's like, you know what, bro? Just I'm fine. You know what I mean? It was like okay, I'm tired. I listen. I don't have nobody I have nothing. I don't want to be with the sex workers no more. It's dirty in Storyville. Just go ahead and make me a vampire. That's fine. And so, but for Lestat, on the flip side of that, I wouldn't want nobody to be like, fine, like I'll spend my life with you. You know what I mean? Like, he was desperate, and I was like, what is? I didn't understand, because we saw them kicking it, right? Like, we saw them go on a little date, we saw them reading a book in the dark, we saw them have sex in the sky. That's enough for you to want to spend your whole life with me? Why? You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting to me, but you know, I think it was just the timing was bad for Louis. Lestat was desperate, and the poor priest. Didn't nobody ever check on the priest. I mean, it wasn't. I'm just like, Lord, why would he punch a hole in his head? Like, did you need to do that? That was excessive. So Lestat was doing the most in this episode, but he also was looking very good. So it was confusing to me as well.
I thought Lestat was showing him the worst. What I loved about this scene in Lestat monologues was he showed Louis exactly who he is. I can be the worst of the worst, or I can be the sweet, I see you, I love you. Like, him calling out and talking about just how you've been like disenfranchised your whole life, you know, just these colonizers treating you any kind of way, your family. Nobody's ever accepted you or loved you outright just for who you are. And, you know, you haven't even been able to do that. With this dark gift, you'll be able to do that and so much more. Like, it just showed all that. And that was just, it just gave me stop effing around and come on here. Okay?
Now, y'all know, as the horror person, this was my favorite part of the episode. This was the blood and the gore that I needed. Louis was in there fighting for his life. He ain't never cried that much. And he didn't even cry that much when Paul died. He was fighting for his life in there. And Lestat walked in there and was like, evil is good.
Evil is good. Evil. Get you a piece of evil ass. It was good.
Louis fell for it. He fell for it. Oh. Like you said, he showed him he showed him a good bit of his cards at that point. He said, let him know, like, look, I just showed you the evil part, and I'm showing you the good part. So, I mean, you know, let's go ahead and do this. Like, what we waiting on at this point? I just showed you.
Even that discontent for religion, like, why are you in here embarrassing yourself praying to this woman? What are you doing in here? Like, Lestat has been Lestat from day one. Like, they're not worthy of any of this. You even prayed to your little piece of God that you wanted to die. He can't even do that. I can do it though. Ashley.
Just like the devil. That's what I said. I said, I don't know what Jesus Louis was praying to, but mine gonna show up all time, every time, on time. Do you hear me? And I'm not about to preach, y'all. But I'm just saying, just like the devil. You at your worst, you at your lowest, but I have this gift for you, baby. Do you want to be free? Do you want to be whole? Is your past been bad? Do you want to forget everything and everyone? Come with me. Come with me. I got something for you. And Lestat was very much giving Meredith from Grey's. Melanin Like Gold said it. I was thinking it the whole time, baby. Choose me. Love me. Pick me.
Pick me.
Meredith was mad about McDreamy the same way Lestat was about Louis. I think it is so compelling and interesting. And very early in this season, we get to understand what loneliness is to a vampire, right? And Lestat, I believe, might allude to it even in this very first episode, that it's like a fate worse than death. It's the worst possible thing to live for eternity and know that you're going to be alone in it. There's no one who can share in it with you. And I think he just felt like he's seen enough good qualities in Louis, like that'll do. Like that'll do.
That'll do, Kashawn. That'll do.
That'll do. But yeah, but I literally, this scene was so toxic, and it just tells us, right? It foreshadows, it tells us the arc of their relationship. I mean, y'all got married on a bloody altar in a church after you unalived the holy men. I mean, what do you want? Who did you think he was, Lestat, and Louis? Who did you think he was? These are not qualities of good people, sir. But I mean, and I also think it was interesting and very telling that of all the terrible things Louis had done, I mean, he held his brother at knife point. He was pimping the nose on the stroll, lying, cheating, deceiving, heartbreak, all of that. But laying with the man was the worst thing he had done. He said that last. I laying with a man. I was like, really, Louis? After all that, that was the worst thing you did. But yeah, it was. Ugh. That's what got me locked in. That this is the episode. This is the scene that got me hooked. It did.
See, girl, I saved it for last. Come on with the cake for Louis.
When it comes to Louis, hating that the most that he laid with men, I feel it's because he could justify somewhat the other things that he did, because they were those things allowed him to provide for his family. But the lying with men was the thing that he did selfishly for himself, and he hates himself. And that's why he feels like that's the worst thing that he did. And when Lestat showed him this, I can kill and all of this, I'm a scary vampire. Yeah, do you still want to be? I don't feel like that was really a turning, like that wasn't genuine, because Louis hasn't been scared of the darkness, really. He's always had to have that aggression. Even when he told his brother, I'll gut you or I'll bleed you like a pig or whatever. He's used to this display in a way of darkness. What he was trying to escape was loneliness. It was his mother ostracized him. His brother's gone. He was trying to escape that loneliness. And Lestat offered him that outlet to escape. He said, come be my companion. Come be with me forever. I'll take care of you, baby. And that was the nail in the coffin, no pun intended, because he knew that's what he wanted to hear, that he knew that's what he needed to hear. In his darkest moment, his weakest moment, he came with exactly what he thought he needed. And that was the master manipulator of it all. And again, it's just all of it led up to this moment. He's been stalking Louis from the beginning. And this is how we know that Lestat was the one who was really calling to Louis, because how the heck he even knew he was at the church? Is he was stalking it and looking at him, wouldn't let this man be. And it resulted in this. So we know who the master manipulator is.
Listen to what you just said. See, he was trying to get out of that loneliness. Who's been lonely here? What's that? It's the Kendrick spirit.
Lestat is a demon. We know this about Lestat. I love him though, but he a demon though.
This is the Kendrick spirit. Like, I sense that sorrow in your loneliness because it's been in me. That's why I ain't go to St. Louis, fool. I came here for you. He's your destiny, Louis. You know what she said? Lily meant that. I mean, she met her end, but you was right, Lily. It was destiny. This was love. We come to the end here. Lestat radiated beauty, after he, gets the gift. Like, I just looked at Lestat. He was just the most beautiful thing I ever saw. The end and the beginning, my drum. The drum was my heart. First of all, Jacob be acting his butt off. Jacob be acting his butt off. It never ceases to amaze me. I love the fact that I can go back here with the scenes, like the poker table scene or this ending scene or the church one. The acting, every single time. I'm like, you better do that ish, Jacob. You better sell that one bloody tear coming down your face. My God, this is beautiful. It was just so good. Like, this episode really leaves you anticipating, wanting more. I know when I started watching this series and it was like, I was like, oh, this was the first time, because I love bi-weekly, or we're not going to drop a whole season. I was like, man, why they ain't drop the whole season? I want to see everything right now. I'm so intrigued. Ashley, were you here for the end and the beginning and the bloody tear?
You know, Louis is such a liar. And this is when we start approaching the lies. You know what I mean? The lies he's told over the generations, over the centuries. It's like you watch this, you're enthralled. The writers do such a good job of making it all feel believable, and it has great continuity. But at the end of the day, I'm still like, Louis, you're just the biggest liar on the planet. And like all vampires, he is selfish to a fault. That's the one thing that every vampire we've met thus far, their self-interest takes priority over everything else. I guess everything is beautiful. And I said it in my recap that all of this, the turning, everything definitely gives Twilight vibes. You're like when Bella gets turned and she's seeing the shimmers, everyone looks amazing and beautiful, and she's hungry. I look forward to the rest of the season. I can't wait. But as far as Louis, let's see if we get the truth. Y'all know I'm 3 episodes deep and he's a liar and the truth ain't in him.
So you're basing it off of, because I'm trying to stick to episode by episode. You feeling that liarness coming off of Louis based on what you're seeing in episode 3, or is it this one too?
Well, even when he's talking to Daniel present day, Daniel knows the lies. You know what I mean? And he was like, you know, you did this to me. He said, well, you were disrespectful. Well, how was he disrespectful, Louis? And what did you do? You know what I mean? It's so disingenuous at times that it's like, who do we believe? What version of Louis do we believe?
The cochon, L. Were you here for the bloody tear, L?
So y'all know I cannot stand Louis in Dubai. I hate Louis in Dubai. I hate that dude. I'm gonna call him Louis. When he's in Dubai, his name is gonna be Louis because I don't like him at all. But you know, by this time in the episode, I was locked in, baby. I was sat down. Okay, so you know, we sticking to episode 1, so I'm not gonna go off on a tangent. But you know, I think I don't know. What you crying for? Don't you know? Louis be pissing me off. You know what I mean? Like I just cannot unsee what I have seen, and I can't unknow what I know. So he's sitting in that chair in his really nice, you know, ugly apartment. That apartment was ugly. I didn't like the apartment in Dubai. Sitting in that ugly apartment, lying to people, and I know it's like he was crying because he was probably straining, coming up with all the lies he was about to tell Daniel. So you can have Dubai, Louis. I don't like this guy, but by the end of the episode, I was sad. It was I was hooked.
Oh Lord! On that note, I'm gonna come to see. See,
y'all not too much of my baby Louis, okay? he out here trying to tell his truth, and he just being called all kinds of lies and demons. And I forgot to say this earlier, but just to stick up for Louis and taking his brother out of the asylum. We don't know what they was doing to that man there. There was still lobotomizing people then back in the day. So he had his mama at home doing nothing. The least she could do was look after her son outside of the hospital. But when we get to this scene, I still feel for Louis. He's trying to tell his story. He's trying to tell his truth. And of course, it's going to drum up some emotions, right? Of course, right? And I give it to this episode, the episode 1, because they covered a lot of ground in one episode, right? We got introduced to so many characters. We developed feelings for so many characters, and they did it so well. The writers of this series are chef's kiss. But yeah, he's genuinely traumatized still to this day about all of that has happened. So poor Louis alone.
Oh Lord, Ashley's taking me out. Okay.
Because after I'm sorry, but after all the dirt that Louis done did throughout his entire life that we didn't see, because we didn't see through season 2, this is the least of his concerns or things he should feel sorry and bad about. He need to be crying a bloody tear about Claudia. I ain't seen him shed one of them.
Well, you know, at this point, he's still lying to himself about Claudia. Lying to himself about everything.
Exactly. Contrary to Elle, my favorite scenes from season 1 were the interactions between him and Daniel. I love the dialogue that they both had when they would be sitting at the dinner table and they would be eating, and it would just, the writing of this show, brilliant. And I hate that a lot of people don't see it and don't notice it. This was like a master class in writing. I loved all the scenes in Dubai because the way that they wrote the words, it was just so literary, and it made you feel and convinced by everything. Even when Louis was lying, he was just putting so much emotion in it, and we could actually honestly feel when nobody else was around. Even when Gremlin was in the other room, we could feel that Louis and Daniel still had somewhat of a friendship and mutual respect for each other. And I love those scenes with them two in Dubai. That was some good acting and good writing.
Now I will say Dubai season 2 toward the end, that's the kind of Dubai I can get behind because he put some color in that house. He got some nice paint on it. We got some art on the walls. He got some faux plants in there. He got, a little life. He wearing
I'm with the black. We do black.
I get it. I understand that. But Louis, that's not Louis. That ain't Louis. Louis out the 7th ward. Louis gonna put some color on. So, I don't mind season 2 Dubai. Season 1 Dubai, y'all could take it, baby, because it looked like a river rock on the inside of that house.
A river rock. Oh Lord, y'all funny. All right, to do something different, since we are already all familiar with the season, I want to get into the people over here in the chat. Whose team are you on so far? State why in the comments below. Now, I had to put my girl Claudia over there because I know she's coming, and I know when she comes, everybody's probably going to be Team Claudia, because why wouldn't you be? But I would love for us to be able to do it episode by episode to just really see how we may differ towards the end of this season. I know, speaking for myself, as y'all already know, right now at this moment, I'm Team Lestat. Elle, who team are you on right now?
Well, see, now you done put Daniel in there. Okay. If you wouldn't have put Daniel in for contention, I would have said that I'm gonna go with my hometown homeboy Louis, because I gotta rep for my homie. But I just really Daniel didn't give a damn. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was a deep down, I don't give a damn about nothing you talking about, and I'm not gonna let you sit in here and lie in my face, and we're not gonna be sitting in here with all the pomp and circumstance that you're trying to give me. Let's get down to it. So, and look at his face. He's just like he's just a curmudgeon, right? So, but obviously I would choose Claudia, baby, because Claudia season 1, Claudia was nothing to mess with. She really wasn't nothing to mess with anytime. But I love, season 1 Claudia. But I'm gonna go with Daniel just because of this face that he's making. Because yes,
I can't wait till we get Claudia in the show. I just want to go over her journey again, knowing what we know now. Kay, whose team were you on? Armand is not here.
Exactly. Where is fake Rasheed on here?
No, until, as far as I'm concerned, until fake Rasheed makes his presence known, which takes a little long in the show, besides his little discontent towards her, he just the housekeeper Rasheed. These are your options right now.
I'm gonna say episode 1, Daniel, because that is a mighty brave move to go to somebody's to go to a whole nother country to meet up with somebody who tried to unalive you a few decades ago. So you got to have some real courage to say, I'm going back over there, I'm gonna confront him. This time we're gonna do it my way, and I ain't playing no games with y'all. And when he came in there, he said, the whole time, I'm not amused. I don't care about your wealth. I don't care about your health. I'm not amused. Shall I start the tape again?
Yeah. Ashley, whose team are you on so far?
Okay, yeah, I can't be on Claudia's because she's not born yet for us. Y'all, and it might come as a surprise. I'm Team Louis this first episode. I feel like he's the one who got the raw end of the deal this episode, and I liked him the most this episode. At the beginning of this episode, like I said, I like Pimp Louis. I do. Yeah, it's Louis for me. Episode 1.
Wow.
Team Louis. I know.
I knew you weren't a rider. See, I'm gonna ask you this because I'm licensed and contracted to do so. Whose team are you on?
I'm gonna need everyone to really dig deep in themselves and figure out why they so in love with the bad boy. Because clearly Lestat is the demon. There's no justifying and siding with Lestat, in my opinion. But it's definitely Louis. Louis is the victim. I'm siding with Louis 10 toes down. So 1,000% Louis.
Child, I'm gonna take this off. I love all the movement in the chat, but once again, when this video, and I love y'all giving motion to the chat. That's what we are here for. But them comments that really, really matter, that keep this channel cute, are the ones that's dropped down in there. When this video is over, or even right now at this moment, get out of this chat and go down there and list whose team you on and why. I really want to know. I'm interested because I see a lot of Lestat. I see some Louis. I see some Claudia. I can't wait till we get more into Claudia. I seen a Whittle Daniel.
Fake Rasheed.
You will add Rasheed to the block when Rasheed, steps up a little bit more, and his characters, he was almost obsolete here. I just had to put Claudia there because I'm gonna put Claudia there before Rasheed, because as far as we knew, he was the help. We didn't know he was nobody. But y'all keep it cute down there and let us know what you think. I'm gonna go and read all them comments, and we're gonna be responding because we're gonna keep it interesting. I can't wait to see who changes their mind. My goal is to change C's mind through these.
Good luck.
I just need one episode for you to go, and it can't be Claudia. Don't be trying to be slick. See, I'm Team Claudia this episode. No. I want one episode where you are Team Lestat. Just one. Just one. But y'all, that has been episode 1. This was absolutely amazing to go back and revisit. Elle, I am going to come to you first to let the people know what you have coming up over there on your channel and what they need to do to come over and support you in it. Go ahead, Elle.
Okay, well, thank y'all so much for having me tonight. I have, I never got the chance, obviously, to talk about season 1. So this is my jam. Okay, I had a long day at work, babe, but I was so excited to come talk about season 1 because this show is fantastic. On my channel, I'm having a blast in the comments of Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black. My God, today that movie was a time. So I have done that, and I'm knee deep into House of the Dragon. So check my recaps out for that. We're going to be wrapping up the season. We got 2 more episodes, so hopefully they do something because they're making me mad over there. But please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. It's always a good time. Thank you.
Y'all, this is what Watch With Me LB's channel looked like. 5 minutes ago, she hit 10K. Congratulations to Elle and all of the motion that she is getting over there on her channel. One more time for the Divorce in the Black recaps, because hilariosity, honey. We got them dragon folks over here. I don't give y'all dragon. I want some dragon. Go over there to Elle and go over there to Ashley. We got it's a plethora of things here. Go over there and support her and get her, another 10K. We love to see it. Kay, I'm gonna come over there with you because I just want to hear nerds, blurs, and the blurs and the nerds. I'd love to hear you say that. Go ahead, Kay.
Yes, of course. Nerds, blurs, come on, y'all. Book people, horror people, superhero people, come on over. House of the Dragon on Mondays, Interview with the Vampire on Tuesdays. Tomorrow we'll be starting Lady in the Lake, which is also a book. I got movie reviews for Tarot, The Watchers, A Quiet Place Day 1. I will be dropping one for Long Legs and Oddity soon. The Boys reviews are up there. It's something I don't often say because I always forget. I do have some short films on my channel. I always forget. But yes, if you scroll around on there, there's some short films in there as well. There are movie reviews or recommendations for old school horror movies, throwback movies, underrated films. So just hit that subscribe button. You ain't gonna have to say, I don't know what to watch. Come over here, you're gonna have something to watch.
You heard what she said. Get on over there. Stop playing. The street lights on. Why you outside? Go over there and subscribe to Kay's channel. We would love for Kay to get her first 1,000 subs on a good day. Go over there and support her, please. We love to see it. C, I am going to come to you next to let the people know what's going on that's superior on your end. Go ahead, C.
Hey, y'all. So I'm going to be going into our next book review. We're going to be reading The Washingtonian, which is about a DC, escort in her, gallivanting around the streets of DC. So if you're into smut, join me on my channel. It's The Washington by Jessica Cutler. Also, I'm getting more back into my roots. I'm going to be talking about anime again soon. So if you're into anime, check out my channel. I also do character battles on Instagram. It's See the Superior on all platforms. If you're into tarot, join me on TikTok. And what else I got coming up? Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine coming out Friday. I'll be talking about it Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Join me on my channel, See the Superior. Thanks for having me.
Yes, go ahead. This is what C's channel looks like. C has been posting. C got some lives here, some book reviews, some stuff with the boys. See over there trying to make it. I'm gonna say trying to make it clap.
That too.
She's over there trying to make it clap, y'all. Go over there and support C and get her to her 500 and better yet, those 1,000 subscribers. We would love for you guys to do that. Last but not least, let me come on over there to Ashley with the spreadsheet, girl. Tell the people what you got going on. Let's dance.
No, a ton of stuff, y'all. I've been covering the Serpent Queen. Y'all know about Lady in the Lake tomorrow night. If you need a recap or refresher of it, I have my recap or upload for that ready on Friday, y'all. Netflix tomorrow is dropping Dirty Pop, a boy band scam, talking about NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, all that. We are going to be live Friday night talking about that, y'all. So make sure that you have your notification bell hit. Make sure that you are subscribed to everyone's channel so you don't miss anything, honey. We have everything up. I also did a review and initial impressions on Emperor of Ocean Park, if you've been wondering about that series. But yeah, child, just stay on that community tab so you know, because you know I'm covering everything.
Oh, and she is, y'all. She is. Ashley is hella close to 4,000 subscribers. The quicker we get her there, the better. We love some growth. We love some engagement. Please get over there and do that. This is what her channel looks like. And if anybody doesn't know, everybody's link that is on this panel, everybody's link is down there in the chat. So it's one click away for you to go on and follow these beautiful ladies. Now, I forgot to put it here because I be forgetting everything. The link for Lady in the Lake. Tomorrow, we will be back. Well, not us exactly. But myself, Kay, Ashley with My Two's Perspective, and our special guest, D Movie Man, for that particular panel, we will be discussing Lady in the Lake. If you have not seen it, it is available on Apple TV. Please go and check out the show. It stars Natalie Portman and Moses Ingram. And when I tell you it's amazing, Daniel Little Fine Self from Insecure over there. I was going to say something. I was going to give away some of the show. I ain't going to
Don't do it.
Yeah, he over there doing stuff. Go and check out the show. It is amazing, and I cannot wait to recap it with the ladies tomorrow. Once again, be on the lookout for Dirty Pop. That's child. Please shout out to JC. It was always about you, JC. It was never JC. It was
always JC.
Everybody knows.
Always JC Shazay. Hear me.
Now, when he
the microphone was on.
That thug appeal, mention that thug appeal on that day. My thug appeal.
Black, listen.
Bring it all to me. Don't miss Friday. When we get into the boy bands and everything else along with Dirty Pop. But just be here and be on the lookout to support us in any ventures that we decide to do. And be back here Tuesday. We ain't stopping. Be back here Tuesday when we go in and recap episode 2. I can't wait to hear, because if this is what we do in episode 1, child, I'm here for everything else.
More foolishness to come.
More foolishness. More and more foolishness. But we will definitely see you guys next time. And you guys have a good night. Good night, y'all.